Hello, everybody. Hey, Neil. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Good. Episode 28 of the Strength Hammer podcast. This is 2 weeks in a row, which I think is probably a record for me as far as commitment goes for content creation. Feeling pretty good. How's things with you generally?
They're going well. I'm hobbying on my Warhammer army right now, Warhammer Fantasy army. So it's
Nice.
going great.
Getting the old high elves ready.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wrapped up all my Warhammer Fantasy hobby I had, and now I'm painting Stormcast.
There we go.
Yeah, well, it's the Ringer army for the U.S. Open, so should be cool. Just trying to get it done to a nice tabletop level and doing the Golden Boys, nice and simple, nothing too hard.
And dominate the bottom tables.
Well, I mean, it's a ringer army.
Yeah, you got to put them in their place, man. They're down there.
it's,
They deserve it. They deserve what they get.
I mean, the Selson Prime can fit in this side one of the lists I have, so but no dragons, no dragons. Mostly because I didn't myself and the rest of the team for Sigmar didn't feel like uh figuring out how to transport those safely with our terrain from event to event. So more bodies than anything else.
That's fair.
Yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, welcome to episode 28, everybody, of the nice short weekly podcast we're doing. Tonight, we got some news going on in the Warhammer scene right now, Neil.
And how?
Yeah, yeah. There was a reveal show for a little. There's a little event going on called Nova Open. You might have heard of it.
I have. I have been there. I have helped you run a tournament there.
There you go. There you go. I was like, come on, Neil. I threw that line out. Had the bait on it, and the audience wasn't going to answer me. I mean,
Yes.
unless you are
Well,
answering at home, but
I have been there. I have played one time, and I have
hmm
helped run a tournament there one time. So yeah,
there you
a lot of
go.
fun, Nova. Glad it's back.
Yeah,
Glad it's
yeah.
back.
Good to see it back. And I hope it's all going well. I have no doubt that it's going to become at least the GT is going to become a pinnacle of the community, competitive Age of Sigmar community scene since it's being run and led by James O'Brien, good friend and fantastic TO. So it's in good hands, and I expect to see. Actually, I caught some of the stream that Season War guys are doing the stream for it, so check that out this weekend if you haven't yet. People listening at home, but I just turned on a random one and it was Jeremy Vessier versus Gavin Gringar, and it's like, okay, so we're just watching, and it was in the Invitational, so obviously it's a hand selected group of people, but we're just gonna see some great gameplay throughout the whole weekend, I expect. So check that out, Season Award on YouTube.
Very
But
nice.
yeah, and then yeah, Nova had the GW reveals as the big three events of the year often do, and I don't feel like going through all of them. Neil, I don't think you do either. That would take way too long.
Yeah.
But what's give me one of your top picks of all the reveals, what you liked for whatever reason. Elaborate on
I mean, this has been shown before, but my favorite model was the new Demon Prince.
it. Okay.
So I mean, we've seen that before. I know it's not quite the newest reveal, but just really all the Slaves to Darkness models are pretty amazing. So that was the winner for me out of all the reveals.
Okay, yeah, and it
And,
was nice that they started doing like the roadmaps throughout the rest of the year. So we see
mhm.
exactly when, like we're gonna get Lumineth and Zinch probably here within a few weeks. And then what was the what was it this winter? Says well, it said winter, I guess. It wasn't really like end of the year. Winter could be through next year. But yeah, it's nice seeing those roadmaps again. They're on the Warhammer community. I don't want to
I
misrepresent
feel like
what they
winter
are.
usually means January, the post Christmas releases, but
Yeah, I mean they'll always get I don't know, sometimes they get those like last right before Christmas ones in November.
whole army though, I don't
Ah,
know. Like
that's
army
true.
updates, I don't know.
That's true.
It'd be
Yeah.
smart. Don't get me wrong. That'd be the smart thing to do. But it never seems to end up that way. It always seems to kind of come after Christmas for some reason. So
Well, I mean Christmas sells itself. If anyone's ever worked retail, like, it doesn't matter what you have. People are just gonna buy stuff.
that's fair.
So like the January and February, that's where it lulls. So if you put out a big release, people are more inclined to drop that money again. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I love those types that the box are doing. I think the first one they ever did it with was like Sisters of Battle, and they've done it for Lumineth, where it's limited edition. or even not, maybe not always limited edition. I don't think the Lumineth one was, but like here's your Battle Tome or Codex. Here's some models, and it's you get it like a couple weeks before the actual full release of everything else.
Mhm.
I'm a sucker for those. Like, not for the FOMO, but just because like it's more of a collector thing. I don't know why I like it. Like that's like a cool collector set for me.
Yeah, if
But
it comes out for my favorite army, I'm on the like I've got the Corn limited edition book from the last Battle
nice.
Tome, which is getting a little bit long in the tooth at this point. So
Yeah, the only limited edition books I buy now are Daughters of Cain, and that's just because yeah, that's the one I care about most. So, but like
yeah,
yeah, but those are tempting. Like I've looked at the Slaves of Darkness one, like you know what, if I got no other projects at the time, maybe, but we'll see. So much can happen. Um, this might be a bit of a surprise. I'm gonna do a 40K release, but that Grimnir model from the Legion the Leagues of Votan,
mhm.
like I don't know something about that model. I was like, that is a damn cool model. I love
To me, it looks more fantasy than it looks
it.
40K
It
personally.
does.
So
It
you see the
does.
drones, right? But like, if you took those drones out of the picture and you told me, "Hey, this is a dwarf release," I'm like, "Oh, okay, that looks great."
I mean,
I
for
just
sure, for sure. Like someone should take Matt, if you're listening, Matt, someone should take that and make their own Yosef Bugman for their dwarf Warhammer
there
Fantasy
you
Battle
go.
Army because that's a perfect
Uh huh.
sculpt for it.
Uh huh.
He's a ranger, got the hood up. Yeah, I don't know, just like that just hit like such good feelings in me. Probably because I've been on such a fantasy kick. But and of course like they're doing the same thing. They have that nice box with the codex in it early. So I was like, yeah, that's if it wasn't for Matt's excitement, and I know Matt's buying like three of them,
Right. Right.
like I would be like, yeah, someone in this area needs to have this army, and I guess I'll do it. But he's got it covered. He's got like three dwarf armies planned for the next year, so we're good. We'll let him have his fun.
I love that they have a weapon that ignores invulnerable saves, so people can stop yelling about my Tau.
Yeah,
So
it's not just yep. More cheaty shooting people. That's fine.
yeah, that's fine.
But was any other highlights from the reveal?
Um, yeah, I mean, I liked the warband for I keep wanting for Underworlds.
The corn one.
I'm a corn aficionado, but I don't know. Like, I can't see myself picking it up until like they get some decent war scrolls and AOS. Because that's
Yeah,
really why I'm picking them up at this point. And uh, um, I haven't played Shadespire outside of one game with Matt, maybe 2 years ago now, 1 year ago, two
yeah.
years ago. So um,
I have my Mogwais Underworld's warband with the Daughter's Cane dice and the card backs and like everything, and it's in there. And I was like, cool, this is great. And it's like, and I just have like just the cards they came with because they said those cards are never gonna expire or whatever be like put out. Like they're just very basic. It's like I don't care if I lose every game, but like I could pick that up and play whenever I want. And then
yeah,
with the last set, I mean, I did buy the last set because it had Daughters of Cain in it, but I didn't care about the Underworlds part at all, in all honesty, because they changed the back of the card. And
yeah,
if you are a nerd, and which you probably are in some level, listen to this, you know that if you have a card based game on any level, you don't change the backs of the card because then you can't. Yeah, it's just stupid. But that was, and to me, that says they're not fully aware of how to treat this game,
right.
or they're not putting in the effort that they maybe should on it. So it's like, okay, why? I'm gonna buy it for the models now, and then I'll keep my Mogwais one where it is. Like it's fine as is. I'll just pull that out, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're missing such a big trick. Like if you're putting out a essentially a unit for somebody's army, like let's get these war scrolls, you
It's
know,
it's odd.
functional,
Like
you know.
well, like
So
the Daughters Kane ones are usually pretty good. Not some are, some aren't. It's really hit or miss. And I mean,
yeah,
to be
I mean,
fair,
I guess, and that's with everything, but it just seems like if you go through most of them, they're mostly unplayable. Not like even on like the
yeah,
fringe, like oh, I could put this in, but I mean, they're just not functional. I'd say 90% of them.
right. Well, I
So
mean, it to be fair, like Mogwais is less useful now in the Daughters of Cain since they changed Witch Brew.
yeah,
It's like okay, now I don't care, but it's
yeah, oh
it
yeah,
is what it is. But
And
Um,
they're good stand-in models for other troops that you have, but, like, do I
I
wanna pay that price for just a stand-in model that I already have?
hey
You know?
hey like I'm gonna throw Mogwai's name one more time because at the
Yeah,
Fabricators
it's an
Forge, the
amazing
local,
model.
I found a used model of just her. So it's now Death Egg in my Warhammer Fantasy Battles army. So I'm like, we're just gonna mix this all up and put it in here.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, this is back to fantasy again. I created Teyrathi for my
Yes.
Dark Elves army. It's just a Death Hag BSB. Like I don't want her being super important. I'm gonna do like a little story because like now that we have like the ability for the souls and beings to cross through, and if you read my Terathi lore, like, she was kind of reborn in a way, so I kind of know how I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna have some fun adventures of her on the lore before Age of
Yeah.
Sigmar too, so that should be fun.
That's
Nothing,
great. I love that, yeah.
yeah, nothing grandiose. Like I want her to be like the presence in Age of Sigmar, but just like how she was doing some things and
An up
maybe
and comer. Straight
yeah,
shooter with upper management written all over.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like under like caught Hellebron's eye and anyway, we'll get there when we get there. Keep an eye out on the blog for that. But yeah, no, my other highlight it was just I just had such a good it was a really good vibe when we were watching the reveal because I was with my normal Wednesday night gaming group and we were building our big Mordheim table, which look at my Twitter, strengthhammer underscore, to see pictures of it. It's just what is it? It's 9 2x2 boards with terrain like we're making Mordheim the city as much as we possibly can. And it's just like chilling out with that, having a few beers and just watching reveals and just like talking about it and just getting excited for the hobby. It was just a fun way to do the reveals. Like I've done reveals alone, just watching them, or I've just watched the recaps, or yeah, I've been on like Discord chatting with people, and those are fun too. But like in that room with your friends, it's just makes everything better.
Oh, yeah.
So that was definitely a highlight. Oh, a little fitness update too. Uh, so I've been getting back into powerlifting. I did a bodybuilding cycle, but this month, and I'm going to use this as like a little mini check-in. Not that it's really hard, but every fall season or autumn, whatever you want to call it, I always do like a month no alcohol, just to kind of reset the body and like let things heal up and that sort of stuff. And I'm doing it in September this month, so September 1st now. So I usually do it in October, but I have a good friend who puts on a wicked Oktoberfest party, so I can no longer do it in October. So September it is. So here's week one of that check-in. So
Certainly
what?
not gonna be December this year.
Mm-mm. Nope, not at all. And then I guess it could have been November, but sober September sounded better. So here we
October,
are.
September, like
Yeah. Yeah, and then just really hammering home the powerlifting stuff too. So, do you have
nice.
any fitness updates, Neil?
No, I have none. I wish I could say I did, but no, I am extremely busy these days with kids and work, and we've got my entire house is being renovated and everything, and so we have. These are all excuses, right? But yeah, it's been a no, a
That
non-event for me right lately.
no, no, that's fair. I won't hold it to you yet, but I will eventually.
I'll keep busting my chops on a weekly basis, and maybe you get me to get off my butt here.
I want you to do one push up for every high off model I've given you.
Okay,
There
that's
you
fair.
go.
All right.
Fair is fair. And I'll hassle you more in December when we have the Teyrathi Invitational because we put in the
Mhm.
dates October 12th or no October. Wow, this 12th, yeah, December 17th and 18th. It's gonna be a 2 day event. We're in fantasy battles. I think we're gonna have 12 people.
That's awesome. Can you
Yeah.
talk about the venue at all?
No, I'm gonna keep the venues where I usually game with my little Wednesday group. So like that nice like barn setting you've seen of the big tables.
Oh, so cool! I can't
Yeah,
wait to play there.
yeah. But no, that group they usually tend to they're not big social media people, so I kind of just like respect that to keep that
Sure.
their names and stuff quiet on that. But they don't mind me taking pictures and all that stuff. It's like it's cool stuff, and like we're really proud of what we're doing over there. Um,
Hmm.
but anyway,
Yeah, I love it.
so Neil, you remember last week I said I'd have an email address ready for questions.
Hmm.
Well, that was a lie. So we're gonna start this anyway. Um, if you have questions for next week's show, be sure to leave it on the YouTube channel or at me on Twitter or Instagram at strengthhammer_. But for now, we do have a few questions from last week that people left comments to on the
Oh,
YouTube. Are you ready to dive into this?
okay, let's go.
All right, first up, Matt Hayward, Big M himself. Here's a question for Neil.
Oh boy.
Stay in your lane, bitch. Big M's Power Hour is the home of theory crafting. I think spelled incorrectly. Dave, check that, please. And
More
rampant
than like,
blind speculation. Also, I think every Terrathi Invitational event should have the champ and brick holder face off round one.
hmm.
So it's not really big of a question. That's more of a statements there. But thoughts?
We're already grudged, Cole and I, for that
Yeah.
first round, so that's going to happen regardless of what Matt wishes. I'm not sure he had a question
Oh,
in
actually,
there at
I,
all.
I apologize. Let me reread that because I did miss a certain punctuation. Here's a question for Neil. Stay in your lane, bitch. Big M's Power Hour is the home of theory crafting and rampant blind speculation. He threw a question mark on the end of it to make it a question.
Oh, okay, I see
So
what he
it's
did
there.
there.
It's there.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
clever, clever. Well, uh, I think that's not a terrible idea, Matt, to have the champ and brick holder face off round one each year. Um, just because, you know, why not? That way they have a
Right.
whole year to prep, even though they don't know what game system they're going to be playing. Because next year I might just do 40K too. That's the fun part.
Oof. Wow, look at that.
But yeah, yeah, I like that. Thank you for the question, Matt. Let's see. Next, Chris Crane, gentleman from the Pittsburgh area. I've played him multiple times. He's a big Fire Slayer aficionado. Loves his Magna Dross. Um, says, personally, I tend to skip if it's an old episode. Like if I'm doing catch up from the months ago and news and rumors and such tend to be lots of exciting after they are out. Hobby updates are always cool though. So I think it's just like I forget what we asked in that, but
We were talking about how we take in our media these days in our
ah,
podcast.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's actually here's a fun story. Um, but no, yeah, you're right, and it's to each their own. It waxes and wanes, and you always find different content creators. You kind of listen to them a little bit. You go on and off. But Neil, did you watch the latest Warhammer Weekly
I
yet?
have not. No, I have not.
So it was a review show right after the reveal show. It was a review show of the reveal show with Vince
Gotcha.
as always, and he had Uncle Adam, a big YouTuber within the wargaming scene.
Huh.
Haven't met him, but I've heard nothing but good things. He definitely has
Okay.
a niche feel. Like he likes what he likes, doesn't like what he doesn't like. I think Matt put it best in two ways in saying, "You don't go to Uncle Adam. Uncle Adam comes to you." Or no, swap that. Uncle Adam doesn't come to you. Like he doesn't put stuff out there for everybody. If you like what he's putting out, you find it and you attracted to it.
I gotcha.
But more importantly, the way Matt specified it is this show is like such an odd couple. They are the Warhammer odd couple. Because Vince is like, I love this, and Uncle Adam's like, nah, mm-mm. Like it was just like they couldn't agree on a single thing, and it was just like I didn't care what they were talking about. It was just fun watching them just disagree on stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just watching Uncle Adam bounce off of like he's a skirmish player at this point in his life. Anything that's remotely looks like an army, like if it has more than 12 models, he's like, nope, nope, mm-mm.
Oh well, I'm surprised he didn't love the fact that there's Warcry stuff abound and all that kind of the
I,
underworlds, all that.
I was to say it was a funny episode. From they're good. They're both put out good content. So it's a funny episode, but it's more funny just watching their interactions just be complete opposite. So I would recommend that one.
Nice.
So we also Chris Crane. Clearly, Chris, you like to comment as you listen. Because that's what I'm seeing here. So like he has two more here. So we'll read through them. Why not? We got the time.
Mhm.
Chris Crane. I'm with Chuck here. It's much easier to get people into a game if you provide the first bit of material. Of course, I would never do such a terrible thing to a friend. Definitely haven't done that before, and most certainly not to multiple, not most certainly not multiple times. So, Chris, I appreciate the attempt at subterfuge here, but clearly you have done what I've done to Neil and just given him stuff and being like, "You're in, bitch."
You can't say no to free stuff. You just can't. It's not. It's just not what you do.
No,
Not acceptable.
it's impolite. I mean,
Exactly.
what do you
That's the
mean?
word I was looking for.
Okay, and the last question slash comment from Chris here. I agree Sigmar 3.0 has my head spinning. There are too many things for me. It got so complicated. I like simplicity of the first most personally, but 2.0 was the best addition in my opinion.
Mhm.
Uh, I think 1.0 was fun, but yeah, 2.0 was my favorite, and I think it was the best. So
Yeah.
so glad you agree with that, but also glad that just like us, you're still playing the game and having a fun time. At least
Hmm.
when you are getting games in.
Yeah. That
This
won't change.
next question, Cole McGinnigal. My question is for Neil.
Oh
Are
boy.
you ready to be 0-1 at the Teyrathi Invitational, not invitational,
I'm
invitational?
ready to be 0-5 to make sure I get an invite back next.
Man, playing the
I'm gonna be
long
maybe
game.
the most cupcake list.
No, I'm gonna force a Banner of the World Dragon in your list,
Oh, the Banner of the World Dragons. I say
especially
that, but no, this is my one and only chance to beat Cole.
because he's bringing
After the
demons.
first Tyrath, I did beat him in the first Tyrathi Invitational. Was my only victory. So technically, we are 1-1 at this
Okay,
point.
got the
So
rubber match.
actually, now that I think about it, there is a lot on the line for this. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't go out quietly into the night. We're gonna have to actually give this the old college try, and that means if I do build a tough list for Mr. Cole, he's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to man up. He's going to have to get those either the models that he has transferred over onto the squares or get new stuff, or he's going to lose terribly, which will be fun for me.
It could be, although it would be exciting to watch you do what he did and go from the brick to the belt,
Right.
as far as back to back, so you can just guarantee it. So hey, if you can go 5-0, Neil.
Hey, I might just have to go full Warhammer Fantasy Power Gamer, like just go completely off my normal self, net list the hell out of this stuff, and just really bring it to me. I couldn't do that. Never mind.
just just get a unit of sword masters, throw the Banner of the World Dragon in it, throw in the yeah, you're fine. That's all you do.
Right.
It's,
Yeah. Hmm.
all right.
Marching forward.
Oh, okay. And we have one last question here from Chris Crane. Like I said, he clearly likes to comment along the way. Perfectly fine, Chris. You do you. I uh
Love it.
I just will probably condense them all together if you do that on the next one, so I can read all of your questions in a row and we can keep it more succinct. But his question: can you legally field 5 giants in fantasy? I may have 5 giants on square bases.
Fantasy. You would need a lot of points, wouldn't you?
You would, because I think they're rare, which
Right.
means
No more than 25% of your army, right?
well, I think there's also like a number cap too. Like you can't have more than
Yeah.
3 at 2K. So, and to be honest, they're terrible in fantasy.
Yeah,
They
they're
don't
not
have a
good.
save. They just die. Like I'm gonna shoot them off. But if you ever want to field them, I'll gladly shoot you off all day long, Chris. Bring them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. But they do fall over, and it's actually not ridiculous like it was in Sigmar. So you could actually kill something with them falling over.
you could. I mean, I tend to just shoot them. I'm a high elf player. I tend to have enough shooting to deal with them, but 5 might be a lot. We'll see.
Don't worry. In their next book, they'll get fixed. Oh, wait a second.
Well, I mean, there's gonna be the new King Brood model. We'll see. We'll
Yes.
see what happens and how that works out. So
That was my one critique of the release too. If I can go there, it's just
yeah,
I don't. It felt odd. Like, it's a fine model. It's a great model actually. I love the
it's
look of it.
well, it's an
But
upgrade sprue to the base kit,
okay,
so it's gonna be a little bit bigger. I think the way they said it's laid out, but it's
I
the
don't know. I just don't know about having an army that has four models in it, right? And then they give you another model that just replaces one of those models that you spent so much, so much money on.
well
It's just like, no, we'll
if
move
it
this down.
gives if it changes up and gives you like a little something like it's yeah like it'll have to give you something extra to make it worthwhile to be like, you know what, I want to bring this character on occasion, or
Yeah.
if you're doing like an event like NashCon, or I know uh Mars, Chosen of Slanesh, over on Twitter. He's doing an event in November, and he's doing the two list format too. So that actually like would be a great place to do something like that, because then you could actually have two lists with like that are actually maybe slightly different enough to make it worthwhile for events like that.
Mhm. That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, no. Oh, and shout out to Haywo with the best tweet after the reveal, where it just said fixed, and it was that ogre with like the antlers on his head and like the really like
Oh, I
strapped
saw
up
this.
face,
I saw
and
this.
it's just a paper bag over the head, and it just says
Yeah,
fixed. And I like, you know what? When you're right, you're right.
yeah. I went back and I actually looked at it. I was like, I mean, I feel like that's what an ogre looks like. Like, what? I mean, what else does it look like?
Ah, yeah.
God, I hope not like those old man eater models. Oof.
Oh boy.
Couldn't stand the look
Ooh.
of those things.
Those were something special.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for the questions, everybody. Once again, if you have questions for next week's or comments or stories for next week's show, leave it on the YouTube or at me on Twitter, or Instagram, for sure. But no, that's pretty much what's going on in Warhammer this week. Do you have any closing thoughts here, Neil? It's a little bit of a shorter show this
I
time, but hey, we
I
covered it all. We knocked it out of the park. Home
I
run.
do
Let's
like
pack this
the
bad boy up.
questions. I like the questions. I like the even the non questions that Matt supplied were at least entertaining.
Yeah.
So keep them coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would appreciate Dave. I know you're listening in the car, and also your left turn's coming up on your GPS. Turn now, quick now. You could leave a question too. I mean, just because you're not technically a host on any of the Strength Hammer shows, you're still a Strength Hammer podcast host. You just gotta figure out what you want to do, and but you could leave them questions every week.
Yeah, you get your son asking some questions. I know he's starting to dip his toe into Age of Sigmar here and 40K. So yeah,
Yeah, and then if you slip us some money on the side, we can give some wrong answers to lead him astray, so you can actually
right.
keep beating him.
Yeah, we don't want him getting too good.
Yeah, no, we definitely do not. All right, that's a show this week, everybody. Short and sweet. We'll see you next week. Same Strength Hammer time, same Strength Hammer place. Stay Stormcast strong, everybody.